Hi, Jim Carrey. Yes.
What?
I've covered a lot of fashion weeks. This is the first time I've run into Jim Carrey.
You're supposed to say, we're important. You're supposed to say, it's all going to be all right. And you're supposed to say, whatever you dream can come true. And you're supposed to say all those things. I don't believe that any of it matters.
There's no meaning to any of this, so I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is.
Everything is divine. There's no thing that isn't divine. Everything is divine, and I'm that. I'm not the body. I'm you guys, and I'm this thing, and I'm this thing, and I'm the cameras, and it doesn't matter to me what's happening on them.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
Okay.
Jim Carrey went from one of the goofiest, most famous comedians in the world to this. I grew up with Jim Carrey's movies and loved them as a kid. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Bruce Almighty. Carrey just seemed like this fun guy, and he was so popular that he's still the third highest grossing comedy actor ever, behind just Adam Sandler and Eddie Murphy. So how did we end up here? Well, let's look at Carrey's life story, because it's pretty amazing, and when you know it, this all kinda makes sense in a sad way. Jim Carrey was born in Canada, and life wasn't always easy for him growing up. When he was a teenager, his dad lost his job, and Carrey had to start working the night shifts in a factory to help his family pay rent, later even dropping out of high school to cover the shifts. Eventually, he and his family had to move into a van together, and Jim and his brother spent months in a tent in a public park. Later, when he was famous, he said that if he hadn't been discovered as an actor, he'd probably be working in a steel mill in Ontario, and that was if he was lucky. But he was discovered. Rodney Dangerfield saw his stand-up as a teen and asked Carrey to open for him. From there, Carrey got a few roles on TV, and then in 1994, he got his big break with Ace Ventura. By the mid-2000s, he was paid $20 million for acting in The Cable Guy, which was the biggest payday ever for a comedy actor at that time. Basically, Carrey went from being homeless in Ontario to being the biggest comedy star in the world. And yet, 10 years later, by 2017, Jim Carrey's presence in the media had faded, and we hadn't seen much of him, until he gave this little interview at the 2017 New York Fashion Week.
There's no meaning to any of this. I mean, you gotta admit it's completely meaningless.
They say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe in
icons, boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming. I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air. On the good foot! Ha! You shut it down now. Yeah, no, I don't believe in icons. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond the red S that you wear on your chest that makes bullets bounce off. And I don't care.
But Jim, you got really dressed up for the occasion. You look good.
No, I didn't
that an
get dressed
accident?
up. I didn't get dressed up.
Who did?
There is no me. Here's the
Uplifting.
thing. It's not our world.
None
That's
of this
the
is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
Okay.
So, what the hell happened here? Jim Carrey's known as this light, upbeat guy his whole career, and now he was showing up to fashion shows just to make random interviewers uncomfortable, and basically call everyone watching sheep. Was he depressed? Was he on drugs? Did the Illuminati finally get to him? Well, it seems like it might have been a weird combination of all three, and probably more. If you start to look at those 10 years closely, you can start to piece it all together, and the whole thing seems weirdly predictable. In 2004, Jim Carrey gave a 60 Minutes interview where he talked about his depression.
I was on Prozac for a long time. Yep, I was on Prozac for a long time.
He'd apparently been depressed before becoming famous, and if you've ever heard a celebrity talk, you can tell those kinds of problems don't just go away with fame. In fact, for a lot of people like Jim Carrey and others from tough backgrounds who suddenly hit it big, being in such a huge spotlight just seems to make it worse. And it had to be unbelievably exhausting to be Carrey through those first 10 years of fame. Imagine being depressed and constantly having to make appearances like this.
Jim, hey, good to see you. You're looking great tonight. Give me a smile. Come on, Jim. Jim, come on! Tom Hanks let us take 3 rolls, man. Cruise would stand here all night if we wanted him to. Schwarzenegger let us draw him. It's like, hi, how are you? What? Great! What? What's that? Fantastic! Huh? What's that? Huh? They want me to what? They want to give me what? Excuse me. I suppose I could fit that in.
On top of his chronic depression, just 2 years before that weird red carpet interview in 2015, Jim Carrey's on and off again girlfriend of 3 years, Catriona White, passed away. Of course, this must have had a major impact on Carrey. But to make it worse, the details that came out about their relationship afterward weren't the prettiest. During their relationship, White had written a note that Carrey had introduced her to hard drugs and mental disease. We can't know for sure what happened in their relationship, of course, but it may reveal yet another side of Carrey's struggles. But when you watch the interviews of Jim Carrey the last few years, it doesn't just seem like someone who's depressed. It's also like someone who doesn't trust authority and is kind of mad at the world. In 2005, Carrey started dating Jenny McCarthy, who was the most prominent leader of the anti-vaccine movement in Hollywood. Carrey agreed with her about vaccines potentially causing autism, and even wrote an article in the Huffington Post about the dangers of vaccines in 2009. Even after they broke up, Carrey continued to spread misinformation about vaccines, including attacking the California governor for poisoning kids through his vaccine mandate. Clearly, the seeds of distrust and paranoia were there for a while. Then, in 2014, he gave this interview on Jimmy Kimmel.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know, Jimmy Fallon doesn't know, David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it. For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, when they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things.
Obviously, this didn't seem like just a normal joke to a lot of people, especially coming from Jim Carrey. He's literally on TV joking about the Illuminati controlling people and distracting them from what really matters. And he's doing it to promote Dumb and Dumber 2. It's just bizarre. If you read the comments on this video, since it's YouTube, most people see Jim Carrey as brave for going on TV alone and exposing the Illuminati. And then, when Carrey popped back up in 2017 saying a bunch of stuff like this.
Started talking about the river of tears that we all have to face, and how at the other side there's, you know, that your body can survive it, but you can't. You're better off without a you or an I.
It seemed like it was still more of the same, or maybe the Illuminati had gotten to him. To be honest, I don't think there's any single powerful group of people running the world, which is basically the idea of the Illuminati. But imagine being Jim Carrey, growing up partially homeless in Ontario, and then suddenly being thrown into Hollywood, a place running rampant with pedophilia, drug abuse, extortion, depression, and everything else. I mean, for Carrey's whole run as one of the biggest comedians in the world, Harvey Weinstein was the most powerful producer in Hollywood, while assaulting countless actresses, and everyone knew it. But Harvey seemed untouchable anyway. Why wouldn't Carrey believe in an evil, powerful cult running the world? Or at least Hollywood? Whether or not you personally think the Illuminati runs everything, seeing the world that way makes day-to-day life a lot darker and more paranoid. Maybe Carrey was just joking about it the whole time, but to me it doesn't seem like he fully was. Nowadays, Jim Carrey is mostly out of the spotlight again, although he makes occasional appearances to say or do something kind of weird.
No, because there is no me, no self. Jim Carrey is gone, actually never existed.
In general, he seems jaded and done with fame in the film industry. And if you look at all the details of his life and career, that just kind of makes sense. Carrey is one of many celebrities who have struggled with fame and the dark world of Hollywood, and who still struggle with it. People like Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson, Daniel Radcliffe, and plenty of others don't seem to love fame, although we can't know for sure. If there's anything to take away from Jim Carrey's story, I think he puts it best himself.
It's been part of the evolution of ego is to spend your first half of your life acquiring and adding, thinking you can add to yourself, and it looks great. I mean, it looks great when you got a cool car and you got nice clothes, and you know, and you're and you've done something that people admire, you know, but it can never fulfill you. You can never be happy. You know what I mean? It's not where happiness comes from.
Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading at least once a week, so stay tuned for much more. I'll see you soon.